It's just not well known. Yeah.
Okay. One other question that I had, a lot of people have a question, well, what's a book that I can use an example? Because, let me give you a tip from a professional writer. Bad writers plagiarize, and good writers steal. Okay?
It's called R&D.
So, one of your preparations for being a writer, an author, is to be ready to steal, okay? So, I told her, here's a book that you can steal from that will give you a certain style and an organization and a focus that will help your book get better. And that book is by a very popular writer and blogger, Seth Godin, G-O-D-I-N, Seth Godin. And the name of his book is All Marketers Are Liars. And what a great title for a book. If you're a marketer, you want to buy the book so you can say, I'm not a liar, I'm going to prove him wrong. And if you're not a marketer, you say, yeah, that's right, I agree with him, they're all liars. I want to read that book too. So that's the kind of way.
Yeah, and I can speak on that a little bit too. Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
I was kind of amazed that you said that you came up with your idea in about
Yeah.
a minute, the whole
Yes.
kind of.
You came up with your idea in about a minute. You said that Carrie helped you walk through that. So can you walk us through that step? Like, because it can't be just everything we're interested in. There has to be some focus to the book, right?
Oh, yeah. So basically how it happened was Carrie was explaining to me what a brand is, and it's basically something that all your, like, he gave the example of Apple. Everyone that has an iPhone or Apple products, they feel really proud and they feel automatically connected to anyone else that has an Apple. We're Apple, we're strong. So having my brand be just pervasive throughout all my work and, you know, my future fans or just my readers is something that will unite them. And so I thought, what is a core value that I have that I would be proud to say that all my work is about? Should I share my brand?
No. If you get a brand,
It's a top secret thing.
don't share it. It's yours.
The idea is you don't have to share it because it should be so obvious that everyone feels it. So I'm not going to share my brand.
But one great thing is, as you go through and you start doing these bubbles, every bubble you think, well, does this really directly and clearly relate to my brand, to my core message? And if it doesn't, don't put it in. If it does, find a way of clarifying and bringing it out.
And also, I was gonna talk about this before you raise your hand, but about the part about mimicking, I don't want to give you the wrong impression either. I think every writer has their own style, and I definitely have my own style. But it's sort of it's a practice. It's an exercise you use. So the first time I met him, I sent him, you know, the 170 poems that I had written in the hospital, and he thought they were great. But he's like, you know what? I want you to do this assignment. Go online and search up poems by Rumi. Rumi is an author from like 700 years ago. So I did, and he was like, just try it, see what happens if you try to mimic him, because he's kind of like the goal that I'm trying to strive towards. So I started to write. So I took my old poems and I would say original version. The next page would be the Rumi version, and I came out with some, you know, completely different
It was
material.
100% better.
Yeah,
than what you
it
had.
was very, very different. Only a few words were the same, but the format was completely different. And it was easy for me to channel other authors. And
Right.
the only problems that I had is my favorite authors have been Edgar Allan Poe, Nathaniel Hawthorne. You may be familiar with The Scarlet Letter or any of Poe's poems or short stories. So it had a very dark view. And so what Carrie was advising me was that through all my self-doubt and pain and my experiences, did you just turn that up? Okay.
No.
Through my self-doubt and experiences, I can smile about it, so it's best if I write an upbeat or positive book so people can see that how happy someone is after a certain type of recovery or after a certain type of help that they would receive. So
Great.
I was going to do like a mystery crime romance, like just really dark, and I could easily do that, but
The meeting is going to be closing now, so we want to get off the stage. Hopefully it's given you some things to think about. And if you're ever interested, here's my email address. It's betterwords4you, number 4you, @gmail.com. And if you have any questions or ideas, or you want to say, well, what would this take, or anything at all, I hope you'll feel free to contact me and think seriously about what having a book can do for you now and down the road. Okay?
and I guarantee you Carrie will be more interested in you than anybody else you've ever met.
Okay. Did you have a question? Okay. See, I don't even have to answer the question. That's cool.
Books should be categorized, shouldn't they, like entertainment, mystery, adventure, intrigue, informing, teaching, those kind of.
You know, with all due respect, that is such an industrial age question. No, what I'm saying, all I want to say is, these days, things, when you put a post on Facebook, you can be trying to appeal to a lot of different people with a lot of different interests. Don't limit yourself to a genre, is my advice. That's what people are doing in the new age of communication. So, all right, okay. Do we have time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What are some websites that can also be of assistance?
My website?
In addition to yours,
Where you can find one? I'm sorry, tell me again.
find this information on writing.
Well, I made it up, so you can't find it on our website. This is all. But you can, if you do a web search for mind map, there is
Now, I know
millions.
how to do mine now.
Right.
I know how to do a visual.
Right.
My question is,
Right.
what are some of the other websites for a person who wants to write that they can go to and take a look at examples and get information?
Well, I've been to a number of the websites offering writing help, and most of those are talking about old style books. I've not come across another one that's really talking about a book that's specifically designed to attract and to keep social media age. If you find one, please let me know.
Amazon has a lot of information about self-publishing on their website, you know that, right?
Well, that's the mechanics of it, though.
Well, that's part of it. Oh,
Well, yeah.
I didn't, were you asking about mechanics? Oh.
What were you asking about the mechanical part of it? There's a lot, yeah, I mean, self-publishing, and there are books, and the writers here heard from a guy, a local guy, who has smash words. If you write a book today and you want to get it out next week, you can go to smashwords.com and publish a book, an ebook, at no cost. The only cost would be for a cover. You have to have someone design a cover for
Carrie,
it.
I'm gonna put this back on the table. It has your email address for people who want to get it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, but there's so much, again, the technology is bringing out so many, and it changes so fast. It might sound un-American, but I'm not a mechanical guy. I'm a passion guy.
You talked a little bit about mind maps, but mostly as a concept. Is there a specific tool or piece of software or something like that that you recommend for mind mapping?
No, thank you. That's a very good question. Mind maps have been around for 20, 25 years, and they've been used successfully to help problem kids do better at school and any number of different ways. And there's a lot of software out there if you really want to use software. But you see Cordy just used pencil and paper. So, but Bubble, there's one that teachers use a lot is bubble.us, bubbl.us. And that's a very good, simple, functional, easy to use mind map software. There's a lot that you can high-end and do a lot of.
Carrie, I just want to add something that I learned from you today that you said.
This isn't for them, this is for me. I've got a hearing problem. Go ahead.
So I just want to kind of summarize something that I heard from Carrie and maybe some of you didn't pay attention to. And what he said that you should refer to other authors that already published something that you identify with, and that could really give you some examples that you can use and kind of copy and paste for your own needs with your own ideas, right?
Yeah, it's always easier to start with something that's existing rather than trying to come up with something completely new, because there's nothing really new under the sun anyway.
You started out by saying you need two things, an idea and a good editor. I'd like to reiterate that a good editor is an absolutely wonderful tool. And there are editors.
Well, no, wait a minute. You tell me, you answer your question.
Oh, I just said, and there are editors in the room.
You just need to find them through one-on-ones.
That's right.
A good editor, most people say, well, I gotta keep writing my book until it's almost ready to publish. Baloney. If it's a good editor, anybody, that good editor can bring what you've written into good enough shape to publish. It'll take longer or something, and you'll have to, you'll be using a professional, so you have to pay them something. But you don't need, and if you use this mind map and read it out loud to yourself, you're going to get a lot of it done.
Yeah, this first meeting is turning out to be very interesting because I happen to be an investor as a publisher, and I want to share some business perspectives with you guys. First of all, I agree. I highly encourage you to write. It doesn't matter if it's for a book, business, whatever. I mean, the more you write, the better you're going to do. I mean, people don't write enough. But from a publisher's perspective, and from a business perspective, and if you want to write just to entertain, but you got to ask yourself, why am I writing? Who am I writing for? And what are my goals? Both, is this for self-enrichment? Is this a business book? Am I trying to educate? Am I trying to make money off this book? Because I come across a lot of great writers, but nobody's interested in what they write. You got to understand that. You are a great writer, but no one is interested in the topic that you're writing about. Now, if she was writing a book about Miley Cyrus in an asylum, all the kids would read it. But no offense, I mean, if it's about John Doe in an asylum, what's the point of writing a book that you pour your heart and soul into if you got 5 families buying 5 copies? So think about that. If you want to write just for the sole purpose of self-fulfillment, I highly encourage it. But if you want to look at it from a pragmatic business perspective, talk to publishers. They'll tell you. They're very brutal. I can't sell you the book. I can't even give it away.
Thank you.
We don't actually believe in that.
Thanks a lot. And actually, I used to work for a publishing company, and our acquisitions editor, who was looking at all the stuff coming in, had a stack like this of books on her desk. And what sets you apart is your brand. If you've got a strong brand, you can write about anything that you want as long as you're passionate about it.
Right, that's true. But remember, most of you don't have a brand. Most of us are not Miley Cyrus. Most of us are unknown. It's kind of like the first step is always the hardest. You have to get discovered first, right? When you think you're garbage, you have to buy it.
So anyway, thank you very much. And I love talking about it. You all have wonderful ideas and comments. And I love talking about this. So anytime, if you've got my email,
That's why we have one-on-ones, right?
that's right.
Thank you very much.